Welcome to CA Final Course, Direct Tax Laws and International Taxation. Direct Tax Laws as amended by Finance Act 2025, 2026 assessment year is 2026, 2027. So for May, September and January 2027, Direct Tax Laws and International Taxation. Direct Tax Laws as amended by Finance Act 2025, 2026 assessment year 2026, 2027. Okay. And coming further, direct tax laws, international taxation is one of the dynamic subject of every chartered accountancy course. The direct tax laws of the country undergo significant changes every year with passing of annual finance act. Apart from this, significant amendments issued in every year through finance act, notifications and circulars are issued uh, from time to time by CBDT, the statutory authority in charge with the administration to implement the provisions of the Act, clarifying issues regarding the meaning and scope of certain provisions. So, the relevant Finance Act and assessment year. Finance Act is 2025, as amended by, and Taxation Laws Amendment Act 2025, and significant notifications, circulars issued, and other legislative amendments made up to 31st July 2025 are there in this book. The computational problems have also been solved of the provisions of direct tax laws assessment year 2026-2027. Okay. The significant circulars and notifications issued and other legislative amendments, if any, made up to 31/10/2025. This is relevant for May exam, 31/10, that is October. Okay, October up till October, this is relevant. They're suggesting to read the Bayer Act along with the study material. Direct tax laws and international taxation. What objective? To acquire the ability to analyze and interpret the provisions of direct tax laws and recommend optimal solution to practical problems in tax efficient manner. To apply the provisions of direct tax laws and concept of principles and provisions of international taxation to recommend solutions to issues involved in cross-border transactions. Comprehensive computation of income tax liabilities of companies and other entities under alternative tax regime under Income Tax Act 1961 to optimize tax liability. This is expected from you. General provisions under this act for computation of total income and tax liabilities for companies and other entities. Special tax regime under the act for companies and other entities. Optimization of tax liability of companies and other entities to tax planning. Special provisions relating to charitable and religious trust and institutions, political parties, electoral trust, business trust, securitization trust, investment funds and other funds trusts. Anti-avoidance provisions under this act. Uh, Provisions to address tax challenges on digitalization. Tax administration and appellate mechanism, deduction, collection, and recovery of tax, income tax authorities, assessment procedures, appeals and divisions and dispute resolutions, provisions to counteract unethical tax practices, taxation of undisclosed income under Income Tax Act 1961, taxation of undisclosed foreign income and assets, penalties and offences and prosecutions, miscellaneous provisions, tax audit and ethical compliance. International taxation, taxation of cross-border transactions, and non-resident taxation under Income Tax Act 1961, including transfer pricing, non-resident taxation, double taxation relief, advance ruling. Other aspects of international taxation, namely significant articles of OECD, UN model taxation, fundamentals of BEPS, application and interpretation of tax treaties, latest development in international taxation. So all these things are covered. First one is comprehensive computation of income tax liabilities of companies, other entities under alternative tax regime to optimize tax liability. General provisions for computation of income total income tax liabilities. Special tax regime under the Act for companies and other entities. Optimization of tax liabilities of companies and other entities to tax planning. Anti-avoidance provisions under this Act. Provisions to address tax challenges on digitalization. Tax administration and appellate mechanism. Deductions, collections, and recovery of tax. Income tax authority, assessment procedures, appeals and revisions, dispute resolutions, provision to counteract unethical tax practices. Taxation of undisclosed income under Income Tax Act 1961. Taxation of undisclosed foreign income and assets, penalties and offenses and prosecutions. Tax audit and ethical compliances. International taxation. Transfer pricing, non-resident taxation, double taxation relief, advance ruling. Significant articles of OECD UN Model Tax Convention. Fundamentals of BEPS, application and interpretation of tax treaties. Latest development is international taxation. Overview of selective key amendments. We have various amendments, but we are more interested in knowing the chapters. First chapter, basic concepts. Second, incomes which do not form part of total income. Third, PGBP. Fourth, capital gains. Fifth, income from other sources. Sixth, income of other persons included in assessee's total income. Aggregation of income, set off and carry forward of losses. Deductions from gross total income. Assessment of various entities. Assessment of trusts, institutions, political parties, other entities. Tax planning, tax avoidance, tax evasion. Taxation of digital transactions. Deductions, collections, and recovery of tax. Income tax authorities. Assessment procedures. Appeals and revisions. Dispute resolution. Miscellaneous provisions. Provisions to counteract unethical tax practices. Tax audit and ethical compliances. Non-resident taxation. Double taxation relief. Advance ruling. Transfer pricing. Fundamentals of BEPS. Application and interpretation of tax treaties. Overview of Model Tax Convention, latest development in international taxation. Once again, I'm repeating. First chapter talks about basic concepts. Second chapter talks about income which do not form part of total income. Third chapter talks about profits, PGBP, business, profits and gains from business or profession. Fourth talks about capital gains. Five, income from other sources. Six, income of other person included in assessee's total income. 7. Aggregation of income, set off or carry forward of loss. 8. Deductions of from gross total income. 9. Assessment of various entities. 10. Assessment of trust, institutions, political parties, and other entities. 11. Tax planning, tax avoidance, tax evasion. 12. Taxation of digital transactions. 13. Deductions and collections. Recovery of tax. 14. Income tax authorities. 15. Assessment procedures. 16. Appeals and revisions. 17. Dispute resolution. 18. Miscellaneous provision. 19. Provisions to counteract unethical tax practices. 20. Tax audit and ethical compliance. 21. Non-resident taxation. 22. Double taxation relief. 23. Advance rulings. 24. Transfer pricing. 25. Fundamentals of BEPS. 26. Application and interpretation of tax treaties. Overview of model taxation and latest development in international taxation.